Pentagon unveils joint task force under Southern Command to target Latin America's drug trafficking networks.
Elite unit combines military branches to hunt and dismantle drug trafficking's sophisticated logistics.
U.S. forces engage, destroying drug trafficking vessels in Caribbean waters, showing immediate impact.
Aggressive interdictions yield results but confirm fatalities in high-stakes encounters.
Task force fuses satellite, signals, and human intelligence to map cartel operations. Intelligence drives action, with special forces launching rapid missions from real-time data. Semi-submersibles and go-fast boats, cartels' workhorses, transport tons of narcotics per trip. Advanced drones provide persistent surveillance, tracking drug traffickers for days.
Task force dominates maritime routes, cutting traffickers' supply lines at vulnerable points.
Lethal force in international waters sparks diplomatic concerns from regional partners.
Cartels' evolving tactics demand escalation to counter their innovative evasion methods.
Task force shifts to active hunting with coordinated ships, aircraft, and special forces.
Expanded rules allow disabling fire on non-compliant vessels, escalating engagement tactics. Pentagon views this as national security, targeting profits fueling regional instability.
Can this military campaign succeed, where decades of drug war efforts have failed?
Task force targets cartel finances, tracking and seizing laundered drug profits in cyberspace. Task force targets cartel leaders, disrupting logistics and dismantling their criminal networks. Cartel's advanced narco drones meet U.S. tech in a relentless technological arms race.
Joint operations with Colombia and Mexico extend task forces' reach against cartels. Aggressive tactics spark debate over sovereignty and escalation risks in Washington.
Civilian losses raise fears of destabilizing communities in intensified anti-drug operations.
Precise drone strikes target cartel hubs, aiming to disrupt with minimal collateral.
Strikes disrupt cartel hubs, targeting staging areas to cripple their operations.
Disrupting narco economies risks destabilizing local commerce, creating new challenges for the task force.
Cartels retaliate, ruthlessly targeting civilian leaders and informants cooperating with the task force.
U.S. escalates psychological operations, countering cartel propaganda to gain local trust and intelligence.
Boarding narco subs at sea demands elite training, with operators facing extreme danger.
High-tempo operations push elite operators to their physical and mental limits daily.
Cartels weaponize drones for surveillance and attacks, escalating threats to task force teams.
Task force fights in a gray zone, where victories come with uncertain long-term costs.
Task force navigates complex international law, balancing military action with legal scrutiny.
Maritime interdictions disrupt U.S. drug supply, raising street prices, proving task force impact.
Traffickers shift routes to Pacific, evading Caribbean crackdown in relentless cat-and-mouse game.
Military direct action clashes with DEA's focus on financial intelligence, sparking strategic debate. Advanced over-the-horizon radar detects distant cartel vessels, countering their agile tactics.
The task force's aggressive stance sparks diplomatic backlash. Allies condemn unilateral U.S. actions, accusing the
command's weight carries personal toll, with life and death decisions haunting Reed daily. Scramble the assets. Engage at will. Relentless cartels launch new narco-subs, restarting the endless shadow war.
Ships, jets, and drones converge, intercepting cartel targets before they reach open water.
SEALs board boats in combat operations, capturing crew for critical intelligence. Raids yield intelligence from laptops and phones, mapping cartel command structures.
Captured traffickers reveal routes and names, fueling operations against cartel networks.
Corruption fuels cartels, as local officials' complicity limits task forces' impact.
Each victory carries loss, as operators and families pay the campaign's heavy price.
Find him. As today is ID.
Intelligence surges to locate the target, shifting the task force to manhunters.
Drones and intelligence pinpoint the target in a fortified coastal villa.
SEALs plan surgical strike on land, escalating mission to capture or eliminate target. Land raids escalate mission, pushing task force into unconventional warfare on foreign soil.
An unauthorized act of war, Reed. You've just torpedoed years of diplomacy.
Jackpot. Eagle is down.
Targeted killing raises ethical questions, blurring crime fighting with warfare's undefined boundaries.
Killing Kingpin risks power vacuum, as new cartel leaders may quickly emerge.
Kingpin's death sparks violent cartel infighting, splintering into factions vying for control.
Cartel fractures into agile, ruthless splinter groups, complicating task force's fight.
Cartel infighting fuels U.S. gang violence, linking overseas chaos to American streets.
Pentagon defends strategy, but task force adapts to chaotic, unpredictable cartel battlefield.
AI analyzes data to track new cartel leaders, countering their fractured networks.
Diplomatic fallout reduces allied intelligence, leaving task force blind in key areas.
Contact front! Contact left! We're caught in a three-way!
Victory creates a hydra. Fragmented cartels pose a harder, more chaotic threat.
Task force shifts to dismantle cartel economy, targeting logistics over leaders. Operation Starve destroys cartel labs and financial hubs, crippling all factions. Resource scarcity pits cartel factions against each other in brutal turf wars.
Reed's strategy sparks unrest, straining communities, and creating urgent humanitarian needs.
Reed faces a dilemma. Does mission success justify regional chaos and civilian suffering?
Task force pivots to humanitarian aid, mitigating crisis sparked by its actions. Cartels target aid convoys, stealing supplies to fuel their ongoing violent conflict.
U.S. troops escort aid convoys, entering ground conflict with no clear end.
Counter-Narcotics mission morphs into complex regional war, overwhelming original objectives.
Yosing.
Commander, can you explain how a counter-drug mission now requires $500 million in humanitarian aid and troop deployments?
Soldiers juggle combat and humanitarian roles, navigating blurred lines in volatile regions.
Global crime syndicates exploit chaos, flooding region with weapons and technology.
Foreign operatives arm and train cartels, creating disciplined, formidable adversaries.
Mission becomes proxy war, with U.S. forces facing global powers operatives.
Media brands mission a quagmire, labeling it a costly, endless failure.
Cartels' propaganda paints U.S. as occupiers, rallying locals against foreign intervention.
Mission spirals into unwinnable war, trapped in chaos with no clear end.
The President has lost confidence in the military solution, Commander. Your operational authority is being rescinded. We are shifting to a diplomatic track.
CIA and diplomats replace Reed, negotiating with cartels to end conflict. Reed orders withdrawal, leaving unresolved conflict and armed factions behind.
U.S. withdrawal leaves villagers in fear, abandoned to the chaos unleashed by the intervention. Ruthless cartel seizes abandoned U.S. base, consolidating power into Narco-State. Reed's report admits failure, a buried lesson in unintended mission consequences. Task force disbands, but Reed carries the war's haunting legacy forever. Drugs surge as unified Narco-State, born of U.S. actions, thrives unchecked.
Task Force's failure was inevitable, misapplying military force to socio-economic issues.
U.S. chaos enables smarter cartel, gaining power through social control.
This isn't charity. It's a narco-state's control tactic, demanding loyalty through fear and services.
U.S. actions streamlined the cartel, boosting its efficiency with advanced technology and logistics.
U.S. drug demand fuels conflict, ignored by military efforts targeting symptoms.
Farmers grow coca to survive, ignored by billions spent on military interdiction.
The supply-side war effectively fuels this Hydra effect, creating new routes and new opportunities to meet endless demand.
Treat addiction as a health crisis, prioritizing treatment over criminalizing supply.
Reed, a good soldier, was doomed by flawed policy, not personal failure.
Without tackling demand, victories are fleeting, resetting the clock for worse conflicts. U.S. pressure drove our innovation, turning their defenses into our R&D.
U.S. radar forced us underwater, shifting from speed to stealth submersibles.
U.S. sonar pushed us to crewless drones, silent and unstoppable.
Our cheap drones outsmart costly U.S. planes, ensuring profits despite losses. Our drug drones now arm global threats, carrying weapons, not just cocaine.
The U.S. exit left a narco-state enforcing brutal order over silenced rivals.
Fear silences locals, praising cartel leaders in a hostage-like narco-state.
The cartel molds youth, using education to ensure unwavering community loyalty.
U.S. failure left hunted officials, betrayed by a cartel-run ghost state. U.S. chaos birthed a streamlined narco corporation, perfecting the drug trade.
You must understand, in Washington, a bad plan in motion is almost always preferable to a good plan.
This wasn't a unified war on drugs. It was a turf battle among the Pentagon, DEA, and CIA, each guarding budgets, assets, and success stories.
Don't overlook the industrial side. A billion-dollar industry sells military fixes, so every foreign policy issue becomes a nail for their costly hammer.
Politics prioritizes quick wins like seizures over lasting community solutions.
People think the system is broken. It's not. It's working flawlessly. Profits for contractors, budgets for agencies, political cover.
Classified reports, same old script. New leaders, same costly military solutions, doomed to repeat.
But the policy's true cost isn't dollars or reports, it's lives. For millions displaced by escalating violence, the cycle's engine, from farmer to refugee, remains untouched, a billion-dollar demand from the north, fueling a violent tidal wave in the south.
To intensify operations, to hunt, track, and dismantle these networks.
The promise was simple. The task force is gone, soldiers home, reports filed. But under the sea's quiet surface, the Joint Task Force was quietly disbanded, its records classified. In Pentagon terms, the mission concluded. Since withdrawal, U.S. cocaine street prices dropped 15%. The unified cartel supplies more efficiently than the old fractured network.
Seized narcotics purity hit all-time highs. Without rivals, the Narco-State invests in tech and quality, making products more potent and lethal. Commander Reed was cleared by inquiry and retired with honors. He gives no interviews, a silent casualty of his own war.
Narco-State invests profits in infrastructure, gaining legitimacy beyond bullets. They build a nation on another country's addiction.
As foreseen, the Narco-State allies with hostile powers, providing lawless sanctuary for intelligence ops and illicit refugee camps keep swelling, a permanent scar from temporary policy, testifying to a war for distant security that destroyed their homes.
In Washington, the machine resets. Failure rebranded as lessons learned. New committees form, new task forces proposed.
But the war isn't won over there. The front line is here, not jungles or seas. Demand is the source, the beginning, and end. The only question that remains is not how the war is fought, but why it is fought at all.
Director of Photography, Evan Wright.
Gentlemen, the JTF's core concept was sound. Where it failed was not in strategy, but in its technological limitations and its human footprint. We propose a fully automated interdiction solution, a persistent AI-driven presence.
Purely surgical. We're calling it the Hemisphere Security Initiative. It's not a task force, it's a permanent solution.
Commander Reed, Arthur Kensington said I might find you here. My name is Elias Thorne. We're building the next generation of SOUTHCOM's Counter-Narcotics platform. We need consultants with unparalleled... It's a chance to build it the right way from the ground up. Think about it.
The Hemisphere Security Initiative got a 5-year, $50 billion budget, hailed by lawmakers as a revolutionary.
They won't attack the network head-on. They'll exploit the gaps in the data. Look for what the AI isn't seeing. The new system proved brutally efficient, intercepting and destroying over 30 cartel drone subs.
Their system is perfect, which means it has a single, perfect point of failure. Find it.
That's not background noise, that's a decoy network. They're teaching the AI to look the wrong way.
Colonel, I'm telling you, they're baiting the system. We need to reset the learning algorithm and...
Mr. Reed, thank you for your input, but the system...